Alright, hello. It's July 15th. Do you know what today is? I know what today is. Today is my birthday. But that's not why we're talking about this. We're talking about the fact that Ghostbusters also came out today. And I didn't see it today. I did see it last night because I didn't want to deal with trying to go on my actual birthday. But I went and saw it nonetheless. Weird screenings nowadays. We used to do midnight screenings when I was a young lad. If they even had them, we would do them at midnight. Now they apparently can get away with Thursday showings at 7 and 10 o'clock. Before long the movie would come out on Friday, but you'll actually be able to see it on Wednesday. Who knows what the hell's going to go on with this? I don't know why they keep going back, but it's whatever. So, I didn't really want to see Ghostbusters, first off, but I thought it was a good idea that I go and see it. I don't like talking about something I've never seen. I'll drop a couple bucks for stuff. So I figured, well, why not? So it was slow. It was a rainy night last night. I told my wife, after dinner, let's go and see this movie. Let's go sit in and see. So we went to see one of the last showings of the night. Was 10 o'clock. Now, I didn't expect there to be a lot of people in the midnight screening of Ghostbusters, but I know, Sony has been pushing this movie to be something really, really big. So who knew? I mean, it's possible that the money they're putting into the promotion of this movie could make it big, put it over the top. So I figured, why not? So I went ahead and went and saw it. Hilarious enough, there were 4 people in the screening, which does not bode well for a midnight screening. Kind of makes you wonder, like, why did we even bother? But yes, 4 people, a couple, mind you, all these people are older than me, so that says something right there. And one old man who reminded me of Mr. Hammond from Jurassic Park, only quite a bit heavier. He even had the cane and the hat. And for those of you who think, well, people just wear hats anywhere, it was 10 o'clock at fucking night. So I don't know what he was doing. And he also had the glasses too, and the white outfit. So I don't know what was going on. I don't know what that means, but I'm just going to throw that out there. So, didn't have much expectations, but I figured go ahead and see this movie. So let's just break it down real quick without me rambling and on about stupid shit that doesn't make any sense, okay? Ghostbusters, as we know, the first 2, and there have not been any more since. This is clearly a reboot, not a sequel in any sort or fashion. So we can get that out of the way. So, not Ghostbusters 3. This is Ghostbusters 1. Reboot it. 4 women characters. Not a big deal. I don't care that women are in parts that men were. Vice versa. It doesn't really matter to me. They do it all the time, whether they change different races, or they change it to genders, or they have midgets or dogs or whatever. Who gives a shit? As long as the story's good, go ahead and make it. So that does have no bearing on it. So we move into the characters. Okay, so you got 4 characters, just like you had in the first Ghostbusters and the second Ghostbusters. Okay, these 4 main characters. Unbelievably, or not, whether you believe it or not, sorry. The 2 bigwigs, McCarthy and Wig, were the 2 weakest characters of the whole movie. Hands down, the weakest. Now, did they do their job in getting getting the movie to move along? Yes, just like Ray and Peter did in the first one, because they were the central characters. Okay, but it was so weak. I don't even know how else I can explain this. I really didn't have a high expectation for those 2 to begin with, because I don't really think they're that great of actresses. And I don't particularly care for their style. Now they've had success in the past and they work well together, so I figured they could carry this movie. But really, if you go down and if you watch the movie and kind of look at it with a critical eye, they did not do their job. And I'm sure they got paid the most, which is something funny to me. But they seem to have a lot of chemistry in this movie, and I don't know why that is. It feels forced chemistry, which is strange because I know they've had chemistry before. So I don't know exactly how did this fall apart. But somehow they managed to have these 2 characters, who are the central characters, not seem to really gel well together, and also the parts that they're in are really lame. But what's funny on the other side, like in the first Ghostbusters, Peter and Ray really stole the show, with Sigourney Weaver also having a big part in it, and they had little bits characters. But Winston and Egon, even though they were there, they never really took control of it. Now on this movie, it's quite the opposite. The main characters suck and don't able to carry it, and the other 2 auxiliary characters are the ones who really push this movie, which is strange. But I mean, it just shows a testament to how much how much better of a character design and probably performers that they are. The two being, and I forget their names. Let's see, McKinnon, Kate McKinnon, and Leslie Jones. Both did excellent, I think, in portraying the characters that they needed, and the screen time that they got, I think they stole it. I think in the development of the characters and the way they presented it, I believe their stuff a lot better. And McKinnon's jokes, because she had the majority, well, she was basically goofballing it off the whole time. Even though they are really dumb, her character was just so much more interesting. Whereas the first, the main two actresses, they were just a lot of their jokes I thought were really lame and really just pressed and just fell apart. I don't know how to explain it. It's maybe there's a better edit of this movie where they shot a lot of stuff and they took it out, but God, they killed it. They brought this movie down way down. I mean, I was thinking through the whole movie, I was like, God, taking aside the graphics and stuff, and we'll get to that later, had they had better actresses in those two roles but kept the other two, this movie may have been totally different. But I do realize that you damn kids today like this type of comedy for some odd reason. So obviously they're going to push this particular style, and they're part of the leaders in this style, at least for females. So I mean, I guess that's what you get. So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to spoil anything. I know people don't like spoilers about movies, so I'm not going to talk too much about that. But yeah, that's my biggest gripe with the casting. The other two were terrific. The leads were just weak. Breakout characters to a certain extent. Chris Helmsworth, whatever the fuck his name is. You know what I'm talking about. Hemsworth, yeah. I don't know. Thor. So stupid that he was funny until the end, and then it really got bad. Ghostbusters, there was a dance sequence to some degree. Let that digest in your ass. Shit. Yes, so he was good to a certain extent, but yeah, other than that, all the characters were good. Also, something worth noting, all the Ghostbusters make little cameo appearances. All the ones in the previous Ghostbusters, with the exception of Rick Moranis, which we already knew, or maybe if you don't know, now you know, so don't be looking for him, which was nice to see them put them all in there. So that was fun, and it was nice. They peppered them out throughout the whole movie to where you kept looking for them. At least I kept looking for them, because I knew some of them were already going to be in there. Some had bigger roles than others, but it was nice to see that they got them all in at one point. So I'm really happy that that had a little nostalgia there, and for people who don't know who they are, they could give two shits less, but they won't probably pick up on half of them. But that's fine. So that was nice. But now let's go and talk about something else, which the graphics and the style and the overall thought of this movie have something to bear with this. This is exactly what I said before, okay? And I try to be fair when I rate movies, because now I put them on two scales, okay? I think it's important that you put any movie on two different scales. If you don't do that, I think you do them injustice somewhat, okay? So there are movies, and maybe you guys don't know this, but I've said it before. There are movies who are real, like, go for, whether it's comedy, horror, action, documentary, anything, right? Go for pure, old school, pure movies, like classic movies. Now, that doesn't mean they can't have fun with the idea, they can't make little jokes here and there, but they're movies. I think that they're set out to make a real movie, not something that's going to make a lot of money, mind you, so they don't necessarily have to trend with stuff, but they're designed to be Academy Award. Well, the Academy is kind of skewed these days too, but Academy type movies. So, I mean, you could go all the way back to the beginning of, like, with cinema, 12 Angry Men, The Odd Couple, let's see, Braveheart, The Godfather, Aliens to a certain degree. And there's a lot of movies, like even stuff like Prometheus and shit. You don't like Prometheus, but at least that's what they were trying to do. So movies like that, okay, try to make a certain style, try to make a serious entries, a legacy entry into the series or the genre of whatever they're trying to do, okay? So when a movie clearly tries to do that, then it goes in one category for me, okay? Because that means it's holding up to a little different standard, okay? Now, Second, and this has been around just as long as any other type of movie, and the other, as far as the other side. So it's not like it's been exclusive only from we started doing it in the 80s or the 90s. This has been back from the way back the day. Movies that try to be entertaining. Now those could be B movies, those could be any other like low budget, independent, anything. If you just want to make a movie for entertainment purposes, then that's where that kind of movie goes. And I give movies like that a break, okay? Like stupid ass fucking movies like Biodome and Sharknado and shit, like just schlock shit like that. Toxic Avenger, stuff like that. Never wanted to be in this category one, but usually when most reviewers review them, they review them on one scale, so they put it in this category. There's really two. So I think it's a little more fair. So on that side of it, this is definitely in a second category, okay? And I think the biggest issue that I've always had with this movie compared to the other Ghostbusters movie, and whether you like it or not, this is using the name, so it's prostituting a little bit. You have to look at the old what came before you and know that you're taking the name, so that you have some expectations at least. Not, you don't have to necessarily go to the high of like super fans, but at least that much. So the first Ghostbusters was definitely category number one, okay? And I say that in that, was it entertaining? Yes. But I believe throughout the course of that movie, between the way they did the graphics, practical effects, the adult type of humor, the style of humor that they did, and also some of the scares throughout the movie, I don't think Ghostbusters 1 would necessarily market it at the idea of going for children, or going for a younger artist, or going for a specific audience. I think it was Ghostbusters, whether you like it or not, is kind of an adult movie. It's better seen with adult goggles, at least maybe when you're 16 years old. I don't think it pandered or did stupid schlock jokes or any shit like that. And the tone was definitely dark. I've heard people say it was like a dark comedy. I don't know if it's necessarily the best description of it, but it's something similar to that. And there were comedies at that time that were more like this Ghostbusters we have now, but that one, the first one, had a whole different feel. Now, part two kind of drifted into that a little bit, but still stayed close to it. So I put it in category number one, and I think that's why it's an excellent movie. And even though it is comedy / action / horror, whatever you want to call it, I think it stands the test of time because of how well it was done and that it was tried to take itself at least somewhat seriously. Okay, this one does not try to do that at all, and I think that's what, being 1 and 2, that could be a problem. But that also could have been a plus had they done it correctly. But I think the slapstick nature of this movie, and the way they're trying to go with the current fad of how of what comedies are supposed to be nowadays, really makes it washed out. Really washed out. Again, it was entertaining, yes. But average. As somebody said, I've seen people say average. Some people give it 6 or 7, stuff like that. I would even venture to say it's below average. This is one of those movies that you watch and you have a few laughs and it's possibly enjoyable for you. Maybe even something you could take your kids to some degree, right? But you probably would never watch it again. And I think that's bad. I think any movie that you don't want to watch multiple times is bad. I have tons of movies. There's movies right behind me over my shoulder. There's movies on this wall of stuff that I like. And I'm not one of those people who just go for digital copies or rip stuff. If there's something I really want, I will go and still get it day one. Because maybe I'm that old of a guy. Mad Max, when it came out, blew me away in the theaters. I got it day one. I wanted it. Excellent movie. Worthy of being on my shelf of stuff that I go back and watch. And I've watched it a couple dozen times. So, but Ghostbusters is not going to be one of those movies. Because it's not... It was fun the first time. It gets old after that. And that is not a mark of a good movie to me. Even if you're going to make a second, just an entertainment type movie. So, and the other thing, to go back to that, and I know I got off on a little tangent there. So overall, yes, just average, medium. It's not a bad movie. It's not a good movie. You see it however you want to do it. My other issue that I have with it, on top of that, which I think is even more insulting, which is the fact that it could have been great, that they ruined it with characters, and it's still just average, is that the fact that they know that Ghostbusters came before such a big franchise of 2 movies, pushed toys, merchandise out the ass, made the actors in that movie, step up in the business, did all this great stuff for it. and they obviously had a really good springboard to go into this one, even though they made changes, some people say negative or positive. It didn't, they think they prostituted the legacy of the old movies too much for me. Almost as though they didn't really know how to identify themselves with it. And when I say like that, meaning you'll notice through the movie, they use the Ray Parker theme, which is synonymous with the Ghostbusters, and that's fine, a fair bit, and you didn't expect that they wouldn't, right, in the commercials and all that. But they use so many music cues from it, I feel as though they're trying to, and the different ways of doing it. There's on the piano, there's orchestra, there's modern hip-hop beats, electronic beats, so many different versions of that one theme peppered throughout the movie that I feel as though they're trying to remind you that you're watching a Ghostbusters movie. Which is insulting to me because it's not. It's not anywhere close to what the originals were. It's a whole different thing on itself. And besides the cameos that they put in, which is fine, the fact that they did that with the music, I mean, I don't get that. Why couldn't they come up with their own theme? Why couldn't they rebuild it? I mean, that's kind of standard. I don't understand it. And there's been a lot of reboots that they didn't necessarily use the original music, or if they did, they used a very little hint of it, and then they stopped. And they went on and did their own thing, because this is your own movie. You're supposed to be a reboot, supposed to be separate. If you continue to prostitute from the old thing, and you're not going to make it just like the old style, then you're just shitting on our faces. A perfect example. There's been a lot of bad reboots over the years. I mean, there's been RoboCop was horrific. I can't even stand. That's another second category like Ghostbusters is, but Jesus, was it bad. And I won't go into that. I'm trying to think of some. I can't. My brain's not working right now. There's been various other really shitty Halloween stuff like that. Okay, so that they've remade Nightmare on Elm Street, shit that they've already done. Okay, and it's the same kind of crap. Now there was one that I think might have actually done it semi right, and I think had they done Ghostbusters in this style, they may have and be able to separate themselves from the old movies. You may have actually gotten something original and something that you might have enjoyed and something you build off going forward. And that was Total Recall. Now, a lot of people will shit on Total Recall, the new one. But, I challenge you to sit there and watch that movie and take the nostalgia glasses off and don't think about it as a Total Recall movie, like that it has something to live up to, and watch that movie and tell me that that's not a reasonably entertaining, fun action film. Good actors, fairly good script, a lot of action, really cool sequences, but it borrows almost, other than some loose affiliations with the plot as far as how that movie moves forward, doesn't prostitute anything from the original. No, there's no music cues that I can remember. There's some parts that they stuck in that were memorable to remind you that it was, of what it was, but nothing that really just prostituted straight off of it. And I think Total Recall in itself can stand on its own, as apparently we're about ready to die from a tornado back there. The cat don't give a fuck. He's just gonna sleep. He don't matter. But yeah, so I don't understand. I don't understand why they couldn't do Ghostbusters in this style. And then so again, I'm not even getting off on that. Again, the graphics are a problem. But you know what? To be fair, or the special effects fit the style of comedy that they were trying to do. But I think, honestly, it's not scary. It's lame. It's cartoonish. Matter of fact, there's a scene where it almost looks like it's a cartoon. Like a real, literally drawn cartoon. And that I can't get around. I remember looking at that going, what the fuck? It's like you totally just blew up, and it just blew it up. That blew up the whole thing. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm overthinking this, but yeah, it's disheartening. It was sad. Again, was it entertaining at points? Yes, but it's really sad, I think, how they prostituted out Ghostbusters. But at the same time too, which really pisses me off when movies do this, and I understand this is a common thing, they left it open where they know they could build on more sequels. And honestly, I hope the movie doesn't do well. I don't want it to. I don't hope it doesn't lose money because I don't think it's worthy of that. But I would hope that it doesn't make enough money to where they would consider doing another one, because I really think they missed the mark on this movie overall. And then the other thing on that side note is, we as Ghostbusters fans, or the Ghostbusters lore that is out there, deserved a better film than this one. Again, not saying this is a bad film, not saying it had anything to do with women, not saying any of that bullshit. I'm not saying that. We just deserved a better movie. So, and I guess that's telling me that I'm an asshole, or that I need to stop rambling about this. But I just wanted to give my thoughts on it. Even the cat looks like he just got fucking... Are you tired of listening to me? Am I an asshole? Oh, okay, don't answer me. Just turn around and look the other way, motherfucker. So I'll stop it at this point. Overall, Ghostbusters is just an okay movie. It's not anything mind-blowing. It's not anywhere close to the first ones, which is sad. Very strange in the overall presentation. I think maybe there's a better edit of it out there somewhere. And I won't even go into depth on the pacing and stuff like that. You can watch it yourself. I don't want to spoil any of that shit for you. So maybe go see it, go not. I mean, I was willing to pay my money so that I could come and tell you all this. But for some of y'all, maybe you can steal it off the internet, or wait till it goes to the dollar show, or wait till you can catch it on TBS or some shit like that. So I don't know. But yeah, overall, that's what I think about it. And enjoy the new Ghostbusters. I would say definitely, of all the movies I've seen this year, or this summer season so far, it's definitely pretty fucking low. I'm more excited about seeing the Japanese Godzilla that's about to come out here in like 2 weeks or a week or whatever it is. That should be a lot more interesting, and I'm sure some people could give two shits about that, but that movie looks pretty cool. I like Toho back in business with Godzilla. So anyways, I'll get off of it. The cat's restless. He's moving around. So that's my thoughts on Ghostbusters. Maybe if anyone else sees the movie and wants to dispute me on this, or think that I'm crazy, then more than welcome to put it up. But that's my overall thoughts on it.